is there a reason that you kind of turn to drugs? Is there like some underlying
Here
like
we go.
stressor or chronic pain or?
um, so it's kind of a long story. Kind of a couple years ago, I started using because I had gotten to a point where I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything during the day because I wasn't sleeping.
And cocaine is like what you started with, or?
Yeah, it was really all that I
Okay.
used.
Okay. The sleeping issue. Did you ever talk to a doctor about it, or was it
Well,
just stress, or?
it's nightmares. Just every night.
Hmm. Do you have an idea of where the nightmares came from? Is it some kind of trauma you went through?
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
my my brother died when I was 16 from a meth overdose.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And I'm the one that found his body. And ever since then, I haven't been able to sleep through the night.
Oh, so how old were you when you started with the cocaine?
uh, it's like 24, 25.
Hmm. Well, so he was 16. You said, right?
Well, I was 16 when I
Oh,
found him.
you were 16. Okay.
I went for years just sort of dealing with it and, well, not dealing with it. And
Okay.
a couple of years ago, I got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore, and I just needed to to just be able to do something and to be able to sleep,
Okay.
and so I
Mm-hmm.
started using.
Do you feel, because that's a number of years you went before using, right?
Hmm.
Was there something in your life at that time that was kind of keeping you, I don't know, best way to put it, like in a stable kind of, where you didn't feel like you need to turn to drugs? Were you in school? Was it something you were concentrating on, or was there something specific that maybe was a positive in your life at that time?
It was probably, I don't know, I guess I was just distracting myself with
Okay.
everything, anything I could do, jobs, things like
Hmm.
that. And I tried to distance myself from most things, and it seemed to work for a while.
Okay. So you were kind of doing avoidance and it just kind of fell apart on you. Because that's the thing that does happen. Like people push it down or they avoid dealing with something, and eventually that those sort of walls you put up crack and everything floods in. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, not sleeping, not good. It does make us act like a little out of control in a sense, and poor decisions obviously happen when you're without sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things, yet it's can be also one of the hardest things to get for some people, and I get that as well. So, so I understand how you kind of it's hard. It's hard to keep going when you haven't slept for so long. Now, was there any additional stressors as well that came up during that time, or
Uh,
when you started using?
my parents disowned me.
Oh gosh, how old were you when that happened?
It was around the time I started using, so I was like 24,
Okay.
25.
Oh, shit. Why did they disown you? Do you know?
Uh, well, my dad's a pastor,
Oh, okay.
so that's a whole other. Trying to think of the word. is there like an analogy where it's like a bucket of something? I can't remember. Like a barrel of snakes. I don't know. That's affected me every day. You know, how I was raised, but I ended up, when I moved out, I got a job at a strip club, and he found out about it and gave me an ultimatum that either I quit and move home or he'll never talk to me again.
Okay. Did you find that, and I know it's common in strip clubs, that the drugs were just kind of already there and that made it a bit easier for you to slide down this path?
No, there was a strict policy of no drug use there, so...
Oh, really? That's like very rare, so it's good that they were able to kind of maintain that.
But
yeah, I get the pastor thing. That's rough. It's rough because the thing is, it kind of sounds like addictions runs in your family. It can be a genetic thing, for sure. Did your father drink or anything, or do you think, because he might have turned to church, might have gone down this path because of addiction, because of his parents were like addicts, or it's a common like kind of cycle that some people try to turn to church fully, right?
yeah, I know that my dad was raised that way too. My mom, her mom was a dancer, not like me, but there wasn't really anything. It, not that I'm aware of. Nobody ever touched anything. And then my brother.
Did your brother turn to all that too because of the pressures of your father? Do you think?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. It's highly possible that your dad was also an alcoholic. I've met a lot of pastors and things who are alcoholics too, and they hide it really well because they got to put up the image for the church, right? So
yeah,
there's a chance that you could be dealing with a genetic part of this, which is a thing that can happen, and it makes it a bit harder for people to say no, and you tend to relapse more too when it comes from a genetic kind of thing. It's the same as like people who are in chronic pain who turn to street drugs because they can't get help. When they quit the street drugs, they're still in chronic pain, so then they end up back on the drugs again, right?
oh my god.
Oh, are you still here?
Yeah, I just had a minute.
Yeah, you might need to stand up and sit down again because you're falling into a void, I think.
Oh god. Okay, let me try.
It's those horrible voids, sinkholes all over the city. Oh, you're in the water for me.
Oh, is that better?
You're like, I think you're gonna fall into the void because I've
Oh
seen
god.
it before.
Okay, let me.
Yeah. Maybe like stand up on top again. Yeah, there we go. And then try sitting. There you go. I see it a lot in the therapy sessions when I see people start to do that. They tend to fall into the void. So
Yeah.
let them know. Sorry, I can't remember where we left off with that. I think I was just talking about relapse. Like relapse is a common thing. It's more difficult to deal with when it's a genetic or something pressuring you this way, and you're non-sleeping. I mean, we got to deal with that obviously because that's going to push you.
Yeah. I just I felt like I was getting so tired of not being able to sleep and not being able to do all the things I needed to do, and I have responsibilities, and you know, I was trying to, you know, drink to like calm myself down, and then I'd get drunk and black out and I wouldn't be able to do anything, and so the only thing that ever worked for me was Coke to make sure that I got things done, and it was just it was almost like a comfort thing.
Right, right. And it, you know, you do it for so many years too, and it kind of becomes a habit, which like it just like a kind of like an OCD kind of feeling when you're trying to quit cigarettes, but you need to hold something in your finger all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The ritual around you doing the drug is also something that we have to break as well, because you've been doing it for so long too. So
Yeah, and like I had stopped for a couple of years because this wasn't my first overdose.
gotcha. Okay.
When I overdosed last time, I don't remember really anything for probably 2 or 3 months leading up to it. And when it happened, I remember I woke up from a medically induced coma, and they had to take one of my kidneys.
Oh, okay. So you're down a kidney as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just excuse me for 1 second. I'm just gonna think about something.
Okay. Misty. Stop it! Stop it! Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. Ma'am, don't make me throw things at you. Stop. I hit her. I threw a bottle cap at her. She's fine. She's looking at me like, ma'am, did you just do that? How dare! Oh, wow, that's rude. Wow, that's so mean. She's gonna play with it now. Yep, she's gonna play with it now. You gonna play with it? You can if you want to. What? Hi. You're cutie. You. Collects 5-pound bottle caps. What bottle is that from? That's terrifying. Can you imagine a 5-pound bottle cap? How big that bottle would be? Why am I thinking of a giant bottle of ketchup? I have problems. So does Niki. You're welcome.